morning, everybody. Hi from Australia. My name is Chrissy, and it's a really fresh morning here this morning. I'm a little chilly. Today, I'm going to be giving you a prediction reading for the 11th of March. Now, I do my readings regularly because I move with the current energies. Like, I have some of my other prediction videos on if you want to go and check out some of my earlier ones and see what's been happening over the year. But today I'm just going to do like an update and we'll just see what channels through for the 11th of March. So I'm just going to close my eyes and let my guides channel through to you and get the messages to you. So stay watching and we'll see what comes up. So they're showing me horses. So they're showing me like someone on a horse and they're jumping hurdles. So they're going over these really high hurdles. It's almost like when you think of a horse event, you've got these hurdles all set up and it's like a course and people are jumping over these very large hurdles. And it's a strong energy. If you think of a horse and how powerful they are and how they can just be galloping along and then they just take off and they lift themselves up over these very high sort of hurdles that have been set up around the course. I'm definitely getting that. And that energy is about jumping these hurdles and trying to get to that other side. So that's the energy I'm getting for today, is just that really keep strong and keep going over these hurdles. And when you think of a course, there's usually a lot of hurdles to get over. So I think what the message really is today is that when you get over one hurdle, there might be another one. I think we can all pretty much say in life that it's not a smooth journey. We know it's not just a straight road that we just travel on. We kind of do go, oh, another hurdle, or some people call them a speed bump, or a speed bump in the road of sort of life as we're going through. You kind of got to find your way over things and get to that other side. And again, what they're saying to me is that's about pushing through your fears, because a lot of people have a lot of fears with the current things that are going on in the globally. And it's just fears in all areas. This is fears about being honest, fears about being different, fears about the virus. Gosh, we've still got people who are really in a lot of fear about the virus, and that's a very real thing. I've said that before. Some people are really still in that pandemic narrative. So we've got a lot of fear still going on, but it's in all different forms. But I always talk about when you've got fears, you've got to push through your fears. It's very important that you push through and get to the other side. So that's how you get over these hurdles. No matter what's been happening to you, you have to find that sort of strength of the horse. And if you think of a horse, I always think of horses as an animal that's very, they're very sensitive creatures. They're very known as being very flighty, and they really pick up people's energy. And that's kind of what we're being sort of represented as. Anyone who's trying to get over some of these hurdles, you're usually going to be quite a sensitive soul who's affected by a lot of things. And that's what horses are like. If you walk towards them, they'll either lift their head, drop their head. They can pick up energy straight away. And I think that's what they're kind of saying to me here, is that as people, we need to really get over our hurdles in life. And that's how we start to move forward as well. Because the horse represents that sort of strong internally, but still a sensitive soul. So that's the message for anyone watching this video. You are probably a very sensitive soul who has been greatly affected by a lot of the things that are going on out there, and you have a lot of fears. Some people have fears of just coming forward and telling their stories. Some people have, like I said, fears around everything. We're all having fears on different levels and to different degrees as well. So that's what they're saying, like, you know, we are sensitive beings, some of us, and we do get greatly affected by these things, but you've got to find that inner strength and you've got to jump over those hurdles now. So that's the clear message today. Keep jumping over the hurdles. When you get over one, there might be another one, but you've got to think, wow, that hurdle's behind me and I don't have to go back to that one and jump it again. So that's the analogy of the horse jumping the hurdles, is we're like those sensitive creatures that have been affected, but we've still got to dig deep and find that strength inside. And they're kind of showing me the muscles of the horse. Like if you think of a horse lifting off the ground, that they have this really strong upper body, and that's that strength that they're finding to jump. I'll just see what else comes through. Now, I'm getting for Canada, I'm getting that Trudeau has become very visible. The transparency has gone. Now, this could be, like I've talked about before, the coat of invisibility, like Harry Potter's, is actually being removed. So this is around Trudeau. Trudeau has been very, very exposed. And I feel, I said the other day, he's like been pushed into a corner, sat in a chair, and he's having to listen. I feel like he's trying to get up, but it's almost like he's stuck in the chair. It's like he's glued to the chair. And now he's being told things. So it's kind of a weird situation because it's like he's very, I think anyone who can see Trudeau can see he's very childlike in his mannerisms. It's like what he says is very rote fashion, and he tries to be very powerful, but it doesn't kind of come across that way. It comes across as a scared little boy inside, and I really believe that's what Trudeau is. He's like the scared little boy inside, putting on this big sort of fake persona that he's somebody else, and people are seeing through it. That cloak of invisibility has lifted off him, and he's very visible and he's very exposed. And I think that was his fear, is that he was going to be found out, and he has been found out. His country is really, really standing up now. They're starting to see the ridiculous of all this, and the tyranny, the dictatorship, the fears around their bank accounts is very, very real. It's actually quite scary for the people in Canada. So I feel like that's where you're currently at. Trudeau is still sitting glued to that chair, and he's being told and given a few wake-up calls. I really believe that. The energy is kind of pushing him back in that chair. He wants to stand up, but it's like he's stuck there at the moment. I'm not sure what's going on there. Maybe comment, let me know what's happening in Canada down below, but that's definitely the energy I'm getting. He tried to stop the people rising in Canada, but I feel that too much is filtering out now, that people are starting to get the gist of kind of what's going on, and maybe there was a plan, what the hell's happening here. So I still feel in Canada there's a lot of uncertainty. And the uncertainty, strange as it is around the leadership. I really feel the uncertainty is around the leadership, and where the hell are we headed and where are we going? And that's the current energy of Canada. Now I'm getting the vibrations are moving out, and it's showing me like vibrations moving out like this, and they're magnetically attracting things. So it's almost like there's magnets on the end of these like arms that are moving out, and they're sucking things in, and they're with great force. So anything that's like magnetically being pulled to these kind of magnets on the end of these hands are coming in. And I really believe that this is around facts and exposure. That is definitely happening. And this is where we get back to putting our energy on the things that we want to see happen too, because when we do this on a large scale, that vibration really moves out, and then it attracts those things. So that's what I'm getting, that magnetic connection now. Things are coming together. So this is what I'm saying about the facts are coming out, because it's like the facts are being pulled out. I think if we know, like I talked about yesterday, the Pfizer documentation, that they had to legally kind of pull that out of Pfizer. So this is what I'm getting about the magnets coming together, about the facts. The facts are starting to be sucked over here to this magnet, and that's why all these little arms with magnets on them are being shown, because this is about our vibration and the things that we're all putting out to get these truths out. And the magnet is so strong that the truths can't help but come and be attracted to them, and that's what's kind of happening. That's why we're getting a lot of this exposure of things, and I really believe we're going to get a lot more in March. There's going to be a lot of things coming out, and that, you know, as much as they try to shut everything down, which we know that they do, there's just too much information out there, and people are starting to get braver, and they're starting to report things. They're starting to stand up for their human rights. There is a lot of this movement still going on right around the globe. New Zealand, Germany, Austria. I'm just getting like so many countries, this is happening. People are putting their thoughts and vibration on the truths, and those truths are having to connect now, and it's that magnetic pull. The truths are being pulled out. Now, they're saying that we might find ourselves kind of sitting in a cave. So they're showing me like this caveman, and he's sitting like on his rock, and he's on his own in his cave, and he's got the little fire going, and it's quite a kind of a funny little scenario actually. But what the message is, what they're trying to say to me is that yes, you might feel isolated, and you might feel a bit lonely, and you have your times where you sort of go into your cave. And look, your cave could be anything. It could be just your home, it could be your backyard, it could be in your garden. And if we think of the cave, usually you think of men in the cave, and how women make jokes about, oh, they've got to go to their cave and have their man time, or this is sometimes what men need. They need to go to their cave, and this is how they do their processing and their thinking. But this is for women too. This is just the analogy that they're giving me. Now, when you're in your cave, which is that place of safety and that place where you can clearly get your thoughts together, that's a healthy thing. So what they're saying to me is, go to that place that gives you that clear thinking. Now, you might be a person that meditates. A lot of people do. I've got videos on there about how to meditate if you want to learn how to do a few meditations. I've got some simple ones as well, if you check those out. You might be a person that just goes out and does some gardening. Like I said, that's something I also do, is I garden, and that's my sort of therapy because I'm out in nature. Like I said, men might go and even have a beer with another bloke. Sometimes it's not just about being on your own. It's about going to that place where you can get your thoughts clear, and you can actually just have that quiet sort of time and space. Everyone does this differently, but this is the representation of when someone's feeling overwhelmed. They need to retreat, and they need to go to their cave. Now, it might be that you sit on your bed and you read a book, and that might be somebody's cave. This is just a representation of it, because like everyone around the world sort of knows about men, and like I said, go off to the cave and they do their man things, and they, watch the fire. I guess it's like anything. You're sort of just mesmerized by the fire if you think of a man in a cave with a little fire going. It's that meditation and the therapy, of watching those flames as well, and it gets your mind a lot clearer. So these are the kind of things that they're giving me for you to use as tools to get your mind a lot clearer now. That's very important at this current time, is to go into your cave and decompress is the word. Now, I'm definitely getting that there's a lot of people hiding at the current time. Now, I feel this is around politicians and government. I feel there's a lot of hiding, probably from the truths, I'm guessing, but they're not answering a lot of questions. They're trying not to look like they're running away, but they actually are removing themselves. So they're not answering pretty much anything. I think we can kind of see that. And they're sort of using scapegoats. So they're redirecting onto other people, or such and such said that, we didn't say that. There's a lot of this redirective blaming. So when things come up a lot, this is globally, with governments, they're doing this kind of blame game. Oh no, we only implemented that because that person, that was the health advice, or we didn't turn up, for example, here to the floods. They were really late helping people. It took days and days. And then they were sort of blaming like, oh, we didn't have enough army people to do that, so now we're going to pour money into the army and get more defense and all this. There's all this kind of redirection of issues. That's something I'm seeing really globally, and all that is that bouncing and well, it's the redirection. It is the redirection. They're trying to redirect the focus. So when they're being asked direct questions, they're always going around the other way to answer. So they're trying to highlight and put energy onto to something else so that they can sort of build the narrative and build the interest in something else, so they never have to answer to any of like all of this that has been going on, that's been hidden. I mean, we're clearly not seeing our Prime Minister here in Australia standing up and talking about the Pfizer documents, that's for sure. And there's been zero on the news. And I know in probably in your countries, there's been nothing about it. And this is the stuff that, how come there aren't being these discussions? Ron DeSantis is in Florida, and he's the only person even talking about it or talking to these other doctors that are highly qualified about the other side of the debate. So this is the kind of thing we're getting. We're still not getting truths. We're still not getting honesty. And we're getting a lot of redirection. And it's starting to really frustrate people now. I know if you're watching this video, you're probably getting really frustrated again, because you know these truths are coming out and they're out there and people still don't want to listen. People still don't want to listen. There are people that are listening, but there's still a lot. And I think we've also got to remember that these people chose their path and they are on a different train to us. And it's hard to see it from their perspective, but we've also got to kind of find a way to stay in our direction and stay on our path, because it's going to consume us as well if we're trying to sort of save everybody. You can't do that, because that's their journey and that's their life lessons as well. So they have to go through their sort of turbulent up and down times for a reason. I don't know what those reasons are sometimes, but we all do have our own journeys where we learn things. You look back over your own life and you've gone through a lot of things and you kind of go, well, gosh, here I am now. I wouldn't be here if I hadn't gone through that, and that. And now I'm living here, or I've been led here, and I've met this person, or, you know, I've had kids here in a nice rural town, for example, for me. So there's all things you've got to look at in your life as well, that you've got to sort of look at those positive things, like pushing through those fears. Again, getting back to the fears, pushing through those fears, and you sometimes get positive outcomes. So that's something that I'm definitely getting today, is that you've got to know that everyone's path is kind of guided by them. As much as we can feed them information, or like they say, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make the water, you can't make the horse drink. Getting back to the horse again. So you can do that, you know, you can lead people there, but then if they choose to have a drink, that's going to be up to them. So that's the analogy today, and I'm going to leave you with that, because I think that's something that we really need to think about is, yep, keep sharing the info, keep putting things out. And look, I think the biggest thing from today is to really keep our energy going in that vibration of getting these truths out, because I think that's making a huge difference. I think we can all see that in the last couple of weeks. There's been a lot coming out, and we've got to take that as a really positive thing, because you think back, gosh, maybe end of December, if you watch some of my videos back then, you would just think this would never ever happen, and that they're going to hide everything, none of this truth's going to come out. And look how far we've come in just a few months. So stay positive, keep putting those vibes out, stay strong like the horse that's jumping the hurdles, and keep going, because we can really find our own inner strength too during this super challenging journey that we're going through. So look, thanks for watching. Comment below. I love talking to you guys out there. Hit the like buttons, that always helps. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed to my channel. Go and check out some of my other predictions and some of my self-help videos. I've got tons on there that can help you if you're really struggling and wanting some tips to change your life. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye from Australia.